Hey guys, a warm welcome back to the channel. Today I'm breaking down my real experience with the PASAMIC 4x4x1ft vinyl raised garden bed, a rust-proof outdoor planter box that's supposed to make gardening easier at home. I've had this garden bed set up for a few months now, growing everything from herbs and lettuce to cherry tomatoes, so I've had plenty of time to see how it actually holds up in real weather, real soil, and real gardening conditions. First off, let's talk about what this thing actually is. The PASAMIC raised garden bed is a 4 by 4 by 1 foot vinyl box with an open bottom. That open bottom design is a big part of the pitch because it means your plant's roots can grow down into the ground naturally if you want, or you can keep it filled with potting mix if you're basically doing container gardening. The panels lock together without screws or tools, so the idea is you build it, put it where you want it, and drop soil or compost in. Simple, right? I'll get into how easy that really feels in a second. One of the first things that stood out to me is how sturdy this garden bed feels right out of the box. I wasn't expecting high-end wood or heavy metal, but the vinyl is surprisingly solid, thicker than a cheap plastic tub and clearly made to resist outdoor weather. For people like me who have seen wooden beds warp or rot after a season or two, having something rust-proof and waterproof is a real relief. In rainy seasons there's no sign of swelling, cracking, or degradation, and even under hot sun it hasn't faded or become brittle. Putting it together is one of those moments where you realize instructions matter. The pieces snap together with those clip-in connectors, so you don't need tools, but it still took me a bit of careful nudging to make sure everything was lined up. If you follow the steps it's straightforward, but if you're like me and think how hard can this be, you might spend an extra 5 minutes making sure corners fit snugly. Once assembled though, it's rock solid, doesn't wobble at all even when it's full of soil and plants. Okay, so how does it perform as a garden bed? This is where it actually starts to shine. The 1 foot depth is a sweet spot for a ton of vegetables and herbs. I planted basil, parsley, lettuce, spinach, chives, and even a couple of pepper plants, and everything grew faster and healthier than when I tried a small container pot in my yard. The soil drains really well thanks to that open bottom, so I didn't have to worry about water logging after rain. At the same time it holds enough soil to keep moisture in between waterings, which means spending less time with a hose and more time just watching everything grow. The open bottom setup also gave me flexibility. In part of my yard where the soil is terrible, I filled the bed with a high-quality potting mix and compost, and that worked great. In another spot where the dirt is decent, I just placed the bed right over the ground and let roots go deeper. That versatility is something a lot of raised beds don't offer. They either lock you into only soil inside the box or they need drilling a bottom panel in. This feels more adaptable. Let's talk maintenance. Because it's vinyl, you don't have to worry about rot, termites, rust, or sealing it every season like wood. A quick spray with a garden hose is all it takes to clean off splashes or leaf debris. Even after a few months of sun and water exposure, it still looks nearly new. The color hasn't faded significantly and the panels haven't bowed outward despite the soil pressure inside. Now, no product is perfect, and there are a few things to keep in mind. The bed is lightweight before you fill it, which is great for moving it into place but means you have to fill it pretty soon after assembly. Until you add soil or compost it can shift in wind or get knocked slightly if you brush against it. Also, the 1 foot depth is ideal for greens and herbs, but if you're planting huge root veggies like big carrots or potatoes, you might want a deeper bed or to use this for companion planting. I found radishes and lettuce love it, but sweet potatoes are a stretch. Another little thing is that the plastic connectors require pressure to snap in correctly. If you're not careful you can misalign a panel and then spend a minute prying it back out. Not a deal breaker, but worth mentioning if you're not used to building kits like this. Overall though, this raised garden bed has genuinely changed my gardening game. The plants are healthier, watering is easier, and I don't dread the idea of dealing with rotting wood or rusted metal after a season. It's simple, functional, and durable, which is exactly what makes home gardening more enjoyable instead of feeling like a chore. I actually look forward to stepping out and seeing the growth every day, which is kinda the point of having a garden in the first place. If you're curious about what the best price is right now, click the link below for best price so you can check it out yourself. Whether you're growing herbs, veggies, fruits, or flowers, this raised garden box makes the process easier and gives you a neat, organized space that works season after season without much hassle. That's it from me on this PASAMIC 4x4x1ft raised garden bed review. Let me know what you're planning to grow, and if you've tried other raised beds, tell me how they compared. No trimmings, no filler, just real talk about a real product.